Good morning. Here's what you need to know. David BeckerGetty Images. U.S. investigators are grappling with the secret life of Stephen Paddock, hunting for details of his last 10 years and any clues to his motives in killing 58 concert-goers and injuring hundreds in Las Vegas. Here's the latest. He was a high-stakes video gambler, drawing on sharp analytic skills and interacting little with other players. Mr. Paddock's girlfriend, Mary Lou Danley, said after returning from the Philippines that she hadn't known of his plans. Read her statement. "We reconstructed the 14 minutes of chaos unleashed by Mr. Paddock, who used devices known as bump stocks to increase the shooting power of his semi-automatic rifles. In a significant shift, the National Rifle Association lobby endorsed restricting the device's use. Our team has also debunked some rumors that spread after the shooting." Jonah M. Kessel's New York Times. Nicholas Kristof, our UP columnist and former Beijing bureau chief, visited North Korea. He got rare access to top officials, saw missile imagery even on the playgrounds, and found zero sympathy for American detainees like Otto Warmbier. In this video, he confronts an official who tries to blame the U.S. for the young man's death. Pau Baranara agents. France Press. Getty Images. Spain's Constitutional Court blocked a session of the Catalan Parliament in a bid to stop the region's lawmakers from declaring independence on Monday. Our European correspondents look at how the referendum has revived a long-dormant Spanish nationalism. Alberto Pizzoli. Agents. France Press. Getty Images. Cardinal George Pell, one of Pope Francis' top advisors, is expected back in a Melbourne court today as a sexual assault case proceeds against him. The trial resumes as the Vatican is holding a congress on protecting children from online abuse, now shadowed by a new scandal involving a Canadian priest. Kosuke Okahara for the New York Times. A young journalist for Japan's state-run broadcaster, Miwasato, clocked 159 hours of overtime in 1 month, working until midnight nearly every night. Above the NHK newsroom in 2012, her death from congestive heart failure at 31 occurred in 2013, but emerged only this week as another example of karoshi, or death from overwork, a persistent problem in a country where exhaustion is often seen as evidence of diligence. Ben Stancil. Agents. France Press. Getty Images. And Kazuo Ishiguro, the Japanese-born British author, known for idiosyncratic, emotionally restrained prose in novels like The Remains of the Day and Never Let Me Go, was awarded the Nobel Prize in Literature. In a statement, he expressed astonishment and gratitude for the honor. It comes at a time when the world is uncertain about its values, its leadership and its safety. I just hope that my receiving this huge honor will, even in a small way, encourage the forces for goodwill and peace at this time. Business. Ilya Namushin. Reuters. The Russian energy and aluminum company plans to raise $1.5 billion in an initial public offering in London and Moscow. Anand Group, a Singapore-based partner of CEFC China Energy Company, has committed to purchase $500 million in securities. The U.S. International Trade Commission ruled that surging imports of washes made by Samsung Electronic Co. and LG Electronic of South Korea were harming U.S. makers. The move enables President Trump to potentially set new tariffs. Google introduced a range of gadgets, headlined by the Pixel smartphone, with a focus on artificial intelligence. Our reporter wondered, is Google finally serious about making devices? Amazon, which sells alcohol on its Japanese website, is opening a pop-up bar in Tokyo's Ginza district. U.S. stocks rose. Here's a snapshot of global markets. The Shanghai Stock Exchange is closed for a national holiday. In the news. Reuters. The Iraqi government said its forces had liberated the city of Hawija, the Islamic State's last urban stronghold in the country. The New York Times. King Salman of Saudi Arabia was warmly welcomed in Russia, a sign of changing relationships in the Middle East as the two powers' interests increasingly converge. The New York Times. A Malaysian government chemist testified he found traces of the VX nerve agent on the two women being tried on charges of murdering the half-brother of Kim Jong-un, North Korea's leader. On Monday, the judge, lawyers and suspects will go to his lab to see the samples, which could still be toxic, under safeguards. Associated Press. Harvey Weinstein, the Hollywood producer, has reached at least 8 settlements with women who confronted him with sexual harassment accusations, a Times investigation found. The New York Times. 3 U.S. Green Berets were ambushed and killed in Niger, the first American combat casualties in a mission to assist local troops against al-Qaeda. The New York Times. Brunei's absolute ruler, Sultan Hassan al-Bolkiah, 71, celebrated 50 years in power with a procession through the capital on a gilded chariot before a crowd of 60,000. The Straits Times Smarter Living Tips, both new and old, for a more fulfilling life. Marcio Jose Sanchez, Associated Press. No wired headphone jack on your new phone. Here's how to figure out whether wireless is best for you, and which headphones to buy, how to plan for a major career change, and other tips for the office. Recipe of the day: round out the week with a dinner of salmon in parsley sauce. Noteworthy: Alberto TPA. Copyright Res Universidad de Sevilla. An electric honeycomb, above, reveals fundamental principles about how electricity moves through fluids. Now, a 17-year-old high school student in Pakistan has replicated the process, and developed results that surprised some much older scientists. Social media versus play-by-play. A sports reporter for The Times tells how tech has transformed sports into an industry with a culture of immediacy and visual documentation. Finally, is good taste teachable? Learning to spot beautiful things doesn't require formal training. We spoke to several experts about how to look at the world with the eye of a museum director. Backstory: in Wrong Zoo for the New York Times, international competitors will gather in the Scottish village of Carbridge on Saturday to spoon up their best recipes for porridge. The top prize at the event, now in its 24th year, is the Golden Spurtle, named after the dowel-shaped kitchen tool Scots traditionally used to stir porridge without making it gluey. The competition includes two categories: classic porridge made with oatmeal, pinhead, coarse, medium or fine, salt and water, and a specialty class that allows for experimentation. Countries around the world have their own version of porridge: congee in China, upma in India, and jentfor in Ethiopia. But for the Scots, hot oatmeal is considered the national breakfast. It's been a part of their diets since the Roman Empire. This year's competitors include a farmer and the head of Sweden's national anti-doping agency. Porridge will be judged on consistency, taste and color. Last year's winner was Bob Moore, founder of Bob's Red Mill Natural Foods in Oregon. He returns this year to try to retain the Golden Spurtle. "It's so meaningful for me. I've devoted my whole life to good eating of good oats," Mr. Moore said after his win last year. "What are you doing for breakfast this weekend? Here's some hearty inspiration." Remy Tubman contributed reporting. ________. Your morning briefing is published weekday mornings and updated online. Browse past briefings here. We have briefings timed for the Australian, Asian, European and American mornings. You can sign up for these and other Times newsletters here. If photographs appear out of order, please download the updated New York Times app from iTunes or Google Play. What would you like to see here? Contact us at asiabriefing@nytimes.com. Correction: October 6, 2017. An earlier version of this briefing misspelled the name of the Nobel Prize winner in literature. Here's Kazuo Ishiguro, not Kazu.